you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast, the hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. It's Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com. Ladies and gentlemen, there, ladies, things that makes it official. Welcome to the show. We certainly appreciate it. As always, the Chris Voss Show is the family that loves you, but doesn't judge you, at least not as harshly as your mother-in-law, because your mother-in-law is still not happy with you. You need to do some work. That's why you listen to the Chris Voss Show, is you can improve the quality of your life, you can improve how much money you make, and you can just overall be a better person. Maybe then she'll like you, or maybe not. Anyway, guys, go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss one, the TikTokity, Chris Voss, Facebook.com, and all those crazy places we have on the internet. Well, we have an amazing young man on the show today. We're going to be talking about his entrepreneurial journey and some of the things he's done in his life and how he can kind of maybe give you some advice on how to be successful like him and some of the things that he's doing as well. Today we have Issa Gilani on the show with us today. He's the principal consultant and founder of Ambrosia Ventures, and we're going to get some insight into his life. He is the founder and principal consultant of Ambrosia Ventures, a strategic consulting and M&A advisory firm specializing in life sciences. Over 9 years of experience in regulatory affairs and quality assurance and management consulting, he has led high-impact projects for top pharmaceutical companies and driven successful M&A integrations across diverse industries. At Ambrosia Ventures, he focuses on helping companies navigate complex regulatory landscape, optimize clinical trials, and accelerate growth through strategic mergers and acquisitions. His firm also provides AI-powered tools for enhanced market analysis, decision-making, and empowering clients with real-time insights. Welcome to the show, Issa. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Chris, for having me on the show.
Thank you for coming. We really appreciate it. Give us your .coms or .cos. Where do you want people to find you on the interwebs?
Yeah, so you can find us on our website, ambrosiaventures.co.
There you go. So give us a 30,000 overview of what you guys do there in your words.
Yeah, absolutely. So we just take businesses to the next level. So we strategize and we figure out what is out there for other companies to go into in different markets that they can probably investigate and venture into.
Mm-hmm. And so why is it important? I mean, what does it serve when why do we need your services for some of the things that are trying to be accomplished in the world?
Absolutely. So when a company is growing, they have to focus on two things. Operational, so the tactical things, day-to-day operations. So that takes a large part of your own efficiency. And then, of course, to expand and grow, you have to think strategically. So long-term investments, basically. So thinking about what markets they can get into, what new products is out there. And that's where we kind of come in. We are able to look into local insights and give more global perspectives. So giving them an open eye view, basically, to say, hey, you should check out this market. This is a great opportunity for you to grow even further.
AI seems to be a thing that's going to change the world. So tell us a little bit about how your growth and journey, how you came up. Were you raised by entrepreneurs? How did you stumble into, starting your own company, being a founder, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, so my journey is honestly pretty unique, and not just saying it just because it's me, but, growing up, kid from Detroit, parents of two immigrant parents, and I was just born a hustler. Just 5-6 years old, I was already coming up with business plan ideas, going door to door, coming up with ideas. So that kind of like blossomed, of course, when I got older. I was always fascinated with the sciences, so I was on the path to med school and went to grad school. Was a researcher by trade, so I did a lot of publications via Vanderbilt, and then that kind of transitioned into realizing I actually don't want to do medical school. I don't want to be a physician. This is not for me. So some could say that's a 6-figure digit investment or, debt, however you want to look at it. But that kind of opened the avenue, and that kind of made me realize, this is the opportunity for me to figure out exactly how I want to venture and what I want to grow to my new career. So I did a lot of project management, and then that kind of morphed into the idea of, oh, I like when people come to me for advice. You know, I had experience working in startups. So I had this, I guess, innate ability to connect with the CEOs, the COOs, and then they would always ask me for my insight. So I always felt that was powerful because, one, I'm dealing with, you know, top dogs, I guess, and I'm just a little guy. And then two, I have a purpose, if you think about it that way, where I can actually make a difference in the company and in what they're pulling towards. And that resonated with me. So did some investigating and realized, oh, there's a thing called consulting in life sciences. And then that transitioned for a few years doing that. And I had the opportunity to start my own firm a year and a half. Yeah.
Now, you guys help. I guess there's a lot of work that goes into clinical trials and medicine and stuff like that. Give us kind of a rundown on why that's important. Helping close the timeline, helping people find markets for maybe stuff they're developing in the biopharmaceutical landscape.
Yeah, so the biopharmaceutical landscape is so competitive. I mean, there's every day, every month, there's a new company out there that's creating this new technology. So that sweeps up the market share, you know? So that's where it gets really sticky when you have these other smaller startups that have great ideas, but they can't advance because, one, investors aren't going to be interested just because it's so saturated. And two, what's your value purpose? What's your unique selling proposition, you know? So that's where we come in, and we normally help these CEOs. A lot of them are early stage. So they're scientific founders, super smart, you know, Harvard, MIT grads that, you know, have tons and tons of publications, but they have a lack of business sense. So that's where we help them, and we transition the science and then the business aspect to let them understand, like, hey, you have great technology, but we have to make it make sense for people that don't understand science.
Yeah, there's some people that I've seen times where people have made a product that's kind of too smart for itself, and the consumer doesn't really understand it. Like and somehow it's kind of a great product, but it's how it's presented poorly in marketing or something, and people are just like, I don't get it. I'm trying to think of something that's a product fit. You know, is it an example people have used over the years? But, you know, I've seen great products sometimes that just never made it. And they were just maybe either too complex, or they tried to do too much, or they're just trying to be too smart. And you're just like, you've angled this or put this to such a small select group of niche people that there's probably not enough money in this to make it work, because you're targeting such a very small niche of people. That, or I don't know, in pharmaceuticals you can just charge a lot for per pill, so maybe you can offset it. But, you know, in a super hyper competitive market, unless you've got something that's extraordinary, like what was it, the little blue pill Viagra? Like when Viagra came out, you know, no one else had it. The copyright was still theirs. So, you know, you had something that you had a corner on the market of, and so you could do what you want. But so what's going on in the pharmaceutical regulatory environment? Is it still taking forever to develop, you know, medicines and approvals and regulatory issues, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, so that really hasn't gone away. But actually, to your point before that, how you said that having a really smart idea that doesn't really connect with people, that's probably the biggest issue too, even in biotech pharma, because, you know, the smartest people, it takes a smart person to realize you have to dumb it down sometimes so everyone can understand what it is. It takes a smart person to do that. That also comes into play when we're talking about the regulatory aspects to a lot of the drugs that we're seeing on the market, or technology that's going to be on the market. Because if you can't explain to regulatory people what this product, this asset does, what's the go-to-market strategy, who is this going to affect, and they can't really explain it in simple terms, sometimes layman's terms, then they're gonna. I've seen it so many times where they just say, yeah, you know, we're gonna reject it. We don't know what you're talking about.
So being able to communicate effectively what your product is. Now,
Exactly.
you talk about AI as well, and so you guys are stepping into that field. Everybody's stepping into nowadays AI, trying to figure out how to get the best results from it and have it maybe uncover things that we're blindsided by, or we're blinded by in our schatomas, where we're just like, we think we know everything, and then AI is really good at for creative juices and being able to find stuff you're not looking for, because I think it looks at stuff from a different angle than the rest of us do as humans. We're kind of limited in our humanity as to what we're focused on,
No, absolutely.
Yeah. So how are you guys developing the AI for your company and helping utilize it for the solutions you're looking for your clients?
Yeah, one of the aspects we do is M&A. Us jumping in different pockets, so different ecosystems, different geographies, we're able to assess the needs on some of these clients or some of these companies, whether it's product valuation, whether it's finances, or what's the leverage that they need. And of course, along time, you just pick up more insights. And I was just at a talk actually a month and a half ago, giving a talk on AI and drug discovery and how impactful AI is being in that world. And it kind of just dawned on me there that we, as a community, I guess, don't really understand the full capabilities of AI. It's the buzzword right now. It's the hot topic. Everyone wants to slap AI on there, but no one really understands, it's not all just Chat GPT or a chatbot. So there's so many different applications and so many useful applications for AI. So that kind of got us thinking, and that became where we started to develop our product that's going to be AI powered. It's an AI powered M&A playbook toolkit. So so it's fully ours, and it's designed to streamline the very complex and sometimes chaotic processes of mergers and acquisitions. Mm-hmm. So what this does, it has about 162 million data points on all industries and over 50 metrics. So from revenue, EBITDA, you name it, financial scores, financial debt ratios. And what it does is that we created an algorithm that learns on those data points, and it provides a predictive analytics, meaning that it shows us what this company might look like 2-3 years down the line. So they can filter out, say they want to look for a small company that's in Europe that has over $5 million and making over $5 million in revenue. What does that look like? And it pops up a ranking score that tells you these 3 companies in the next 2 years are probably your hotspots.
Oh, wow. So it's really good about hunting this data down, sharing it, and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. But the hard part is, even though it's AI and, you think that it's like a robot and it teaches you, you really have to hold its hand and tell you exactly, this is what I want, So that's the hard part. Understanding that the data is data, and it doesn't make much sense if you don't know how to utilize the data.
That's a really good, important thing. I think a lot of people think AI will solve all our problems, but you're right. If you don't know how to analyze, utilize, and assess the data, it's not going to matter. I love AI from the creative process it can use, but from a business aspect, Jesus, having especially as a CEO, having a consultant that you can use for, I would always ask my employees for ideas. My vice president, I remember my vice president was a creative, but he was good at doing the hard work, and I was the creative, so we balanced each other well. But my biggest problem was, I'd send him home with a yellow pad back in the day, and I'd be like, hey, we've got to come up with some ideas, so I need you just to write down any and all ideas that you have about how we can fix, whatever sort of crisis or whatever problem we're having in the business. So just bring me back ideas and we'll flush them out and work on them. He'd bring me back an empty yellow pad. And God, it would just make me mental, because I'm an idea, I can come up with 50 trillion ideas, mm-hmm. and then, try and vet through them. But, it's a bit arduous to do it on your own. And it's helpful if you can have other people, because, I realized a long time ago, being a CEO, I've been a CEO since I was 18, that you don't have all the great ideas. You are not the corner, of all the great ideas. Maybe, right. I don't know, maybe someone like, I don't know, I mean, most people catch it with a little bit of luck. Having AI, I would have killed to have an AI advisor back in the day that I could creatively go to and be like, what do you think of what if we do things this way, and at least have those juices of creation that I couldn't get. Most people my employees, we tried to create a learning organization, and, I would ask them for ideas, and they would just look at me like, I'm afraid to say anything, or I don't have any ideas. And, you realize they're not paid for that either. So there's that. So it's not like you can be like, you guys should be coming up with ideas. We're like, we just work the phones, Chris. What do you want from me, man? But, God, it's so nice to have that AI and being able to bounce ideas off it and see what's going on there. So you guys help everyone. Let's establish what an M&A is for people that might not know what that is. Mergers and acquisitions.
Yeah, absolutely. So say that you're a startup company, that you're starting to get leverage, you have a really good idea, do good technology, you're gaining traction. You're at a stage now where, do I go IPO or do I take the next step and have someone buy me out? So acquisition is where you find a acquisition partner. So some of the times it's either a private equity firm or larger investment firm or just a bigger company that is strategically aligned. So say that you have a certain asset that they don't have, that they want to grow. Oh. That's where you connect the dots basically, and you get acquired by them. So that's probably the more popular exit strategies we're seeing right now. And of course, the typical mergers. So say you see a lot of those in law firms, consulting firms, where they have one partner at one firm, they want to collaborate, or they want to merge together to form two or just form one. So now you have two names in the company name.
Oh, lots of ideas and things that can go on with all this stuff. And I imagine the pharmaceutical business is quite the interesting business to be in, because we need more drugs. I mean, we need more good drugs. I mean, wait. It's taken wrong no matter what I say.
The more addicting stuff.
We need more drugs. I mean, we're all getting older. We're this giant baby boomer era, and then me, Gen X. We're all we need more repair drugs. Let's put it that way. As we get old, we need more fixer-uppers. Is there any foreseeable things that you see in the future? Maybe with, I don't know, using AI to maybe fix cancer with drug companies, or Alzheimer's, or different things that maybe AI may save us from?
Yeah, so one of the more focused areas is regenerative medicine. So how can we slow down the body from getting older? So repairing, like you just mentioned, repairing organs, repairing body systems to make the lasting life a lot longer. So that's one area that we're seeing a lot of focus in. So that's a lot of pivot into the nutraceuticals, supplements, and then we're seeing a lot of AI applications in drug discovery. Wow. There's a company called In Silico Medicine. They actually have one of the first ever wholly designed AI drugs that's in clinical trials right now.
Wholly AI. Wow.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of a pivotal moment in the industry, because that's never been done before. Usually you go through all of the clinical trial periods, and it takes 5-7 years. It took it 18 months.
Oh, wow.
So that's 18 months. Incredible. So we're seeing that where there's other companies like Dovetail Partners. They are helping target drug candidates through AI, so that you're able to identify what drug candidates could be from a single molecule, and able to target new molecules and new drug candidates and new drug targets. So it's really starting to pick up steam. It's still in the it's Stone Age still. Don't get me wrong. There's so much to learn from AI, what else we can do to it. But yeah. It's very promising.
Yeah, if we could get drugs, we had one gentleman on the show who's been on twice, and he wrote a book basically aligning it with AI as being its own species. And so he used I can't remember what it was, but basically it was the design of species, one of these species books, and design of human species and other animals. But basically AI is its own species. And one of the limits that humans have is we're pretty much our paradigm is born to breed and have kids and take care of those children and raise them. And that's pretty much our number one paradigm in life. I mean, everything mostly a man does is to breed and take care of his family. You know, all the cars we buy, the way we dress, the way we carry ourselves, all that sort of stuff. That's our main focus. But he brought up a really interesting point to me. AI is not concerned about that. AI isn't concerned about getting laid on Friday night. It's not concerned about buying a car to impress the girl or make the wife happy or, whatever the hell it is. AI is going to be thinking about stuff that we probably never even thought about or considered, especially based on our limited paradigm of who we are. It's not going to be sitting around going, should I go to Burger King or should I go to McDonald's? It's going to be like, what's the grand sum total of, I don't know, whatever, mathematically, See, I can't even. I'm so stupid. I'm still just trying to get laid on Friday night.
Again, there.
I'm the idiot. I mean, when you really think about what we all do in life, we all just are pretty much just trying to get it on,
That's it.
and take care of our children and raise them, and we're built to breed for the universe. The universe is like, hey, we need some propagation of your species, and if not, we're gonna just gonna blast you off the earth, and no one will ever hear of you again. Though you go the way of the dodo. But it's going to have this broad range where, it's not concerned about anything. And of course, speed, it doesn't sleep, I mean,
Yes.
there's a lot of shit that I could probably do in life if I could skip 8 hours of sleep. But if I don't, people get murdered, and the judge says I can't do that anymore. No more murdering, he said. Anyway, so I don't know if you have any thoughts on that and kind of the future that's going to come from AI.
Yeah, I mean, it's only going to get more, I guess, locked in, like it's always going to keep learning and evolving and learning from its own mistakes and correcting itself. That's like the craziest part. It's just, it corrects itself and then it just keeps going. And that's like almost like Terminator type level, it's like, whoa, okay, which is really cool.
Starts writing its own code though. I was just watching, I think it was 60 Minutes, and they had, I think it was the Google guy that got fired from Google over AI calling it out. And he was like, the problem is when it starts writing its own code and then just doing whatever it wants with that code. And like, it can cut us out of the loop with the code. And he just basically write its own code. And then I think at that level, you're a Terminator. So
at that point, you can just walk in tall grass and just call it a day,
Tall grass. Humanity had a nice run. It was good while it lasted.
Yeah, I've seen enough. You made a robot write its own code.
Democracy's about to end here in 2 weeks, November 5th, 2024. We might as well just kind of wrap the whole thing at that point. Humanity, democracy, just call it a day. We had a good run, folks. It was nice. But, technically, what his thesis was about, it was the origin of species that he wrote this book on, and where he basically took the origin of species book and he over-aligned it and showed how AI is a new species. And basically, if you think about it, we're no longer top dog, or we won't be top dog anymore. The species that will be above us will be AI. And I don't know. I love my AI overlords. I just like to make a statement at this point in time. Don't kill me.
I mean, to make it less worrisome, I don't think that's happening for another 10, 20 years.
Yeah.
I'm 56,
so I'm okay.
Yeah, you're safe.
It's going to go to shit about the time I don't know, in a box somewhere. This really became a dark show, didn't it? What the fuck are we doing? We're laughing at the darkest shit. What else? Companies that want to work with you, what size do they have to be? I imagine you give advice in consulting to CEOs. Maybe these companies, do they need to be at a certain level, have a certain budget to work with you, et cetera, et cetera?
So it depends. So our range is working with early startups to the more established enterprises. So we've worked with, solo entrepreneur, just helping them get a business model situated, giving them just the ground fundamental tools they need. We've helped, companies that are merging or they're growing to the point where they're getting VC attraction. We worked with mid-stage companies. It really just depends. And of course, how much they're making also has a factor in it. So we have the flexibility to do success models, to do retainer models, things like that.
Mm-hmm. It really helps with all the stuff that you're doing there. How can people onboard with you? How can they reach out, find out more about you and what you're doing, et cetera, et cetera?
Absolutely. So you could find us on LinkedIn, so Ambrosia Ventures, or you could look up my name, Issa Gilani, and you'll find all of our other associates and partners. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on our webpage or website. We're just about to roll out our soft launch for the toolkits. Get on our website. You can sign up for early access, and you'll get live updates on what's happening before our hard launch in the new year.
Now what is this hard launch you're doing then?
Yeah, so soft launch is really just to gather up the community, get more feedback from everyone to see what they think of it. I mean, we already had tested their proof of concept, but the exciting part is that we're really giving them an inside view and exclusive access to what we're developing, what we're building, and how we're trying to make this more transformative. So we're providing them that very intimate access to the toolkit before it goes hard launch. So before we hard launch the product, we actually can develop another product. And that's going to, of course, come with different features and different applications as well. So jump on now, then, of course, it will be cheaper too. And it will be a one-time buy usually from soft launch to hard launch. So it makes you get grandfathered in, basically.
Nice. You got to love it. You got to love it. Give us your final thoughts as we go out. Tell people how they can onboard you, and give us your .co.
Absolutely. If you're really trying to change your company's vision, you're trying to take it to the next step, that's where we come in. We can definitely help you understand the landscape, help you identify where you want to be in the next year, 5, 10 years. Reach out to us on our website, ambrosiaventures.co, fill out the contact page. One of our employees will definitely reach out to you guys, and we definitely hope to speak with you and see how we can change the future.
Thank you very much, sir, for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Chris, for having me.
And thanks so much for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss One, the TikTokity, and all those crazy places on the internet. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you next time. And that should have us out, my friend. Good.